Hey, welcome everyone to this special episode for our Patreon first Across the Bifrost episodes. Oh, that was very rough. Not really well done. Let's try again. This is a Patreon first episode of Across the Bifrost. This is your host, Dr. Norbert, coming, still recovering from multiple tournaments in a row, which was wild for a little while there. And with me today on this episode is the winner of the UK Games Expo GT, an official Atomic Mass Games GT. And that is none other than Liam Watt from Scotland. Hey, Liam, thanks for being on the show.
No problem, Albert. Thanks very much for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you on there. Go on.
Just it was a great event to go to and obviously catch up with the southerners of the UK.
Well, we were in, it's kind of like the mid-ground, actually, you guys have a cool store name up there, actually, Common Ground. Common Ground Games or something like that?
Yeah.
So it felt like that, it's right? Birmingham is kind of the common ground for the entire UK to meet together. So, of course, we're referring to the UK Games Expo. This is a 3-day convention. The closest thing the UK has to an American-style convention feels very much like a Gen Con. Where there's lots of different vendors and stuff. If you want to hear all about it, Jamie and I reviewed our attendance at that event on a regular episode a couple of editions back. So do look that one up if you want to know more about the convention. But first, Liam, why don't you introduce yourself? I know you very well from many tabletop simulator tournaments and has streamed a number of your games, as a matter of fact. So it was a pleasure seeing you again. But tell us a little bit about you, how you got into wargaming in general, and then what your MCP journey has been like.
So I've been playing miniatures games since I was about 13, 14 when I got into like GW games. 40k was obviously my first. Went into Fantasy 8th edition. That was kind of like my first tournament level game. Played that from like the age of like after school leave and then till early 20s. Then dipped out of that.
Whoa, so you got into 8th edition, if I'm thinking right, isn't that the one that they then killed the game with?
Yeah. I got out of it before they killed the game, before they did that final chapter of killing it, but went on to play X-Wing after that. Again, tournament level sort of thing with that, and then moved back into Age of Sigmar from a group of friends, played that for multiple years, played for Team Scotland for Six Nations and that in Age of Sigmar, and then fell in love with Age of Sigmar and came up to this beautiful game, found it online during COVID and never looked back, pretty much is the...
Wow, excellent. So TTS was your intro to MCP?
Yeah. I bought the game, the starter core set, the year before on an Amazon sale, the Black Friday sale. I got it for like £55, and then I was like, I'll stick that in the cupboard.
Nice.
Something will happen at some point, and then Dormammu came out, and then that brought me into the game. When he was revealed, you can play anything together was such a cool idea.
Now you get out to Alan Gibb, of course, is at least the main organizer, if not the only organizer, up in Scotland. He runs tons of events. You go to many of those, as we mentioned, in Stirling, Scotland. Yeah. What went into your decision to come down to the UK Games Expo?
So we were looking. I kind of like sat with the calendar. I was looking last year, obviously, when the GTs were getting run and things like that. We're looking at an event as a group to go down to. Obviously, last year there was a lot less good communication from obviously what happened and things like that. Obviously, it is what it is now. But we saw the Games Expo this year. It landed on a good date for a group of us to go down. So we just went. I wanted to go across to obviously one of the GTs that obviously AMG were running and things like that, and just seeing a different side of the game sort of thing. Like, just obviously I've never been to the Games Expo either. That was my first experience of that. And it was really good.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, that was Alan, I guess, instigating a little group of Scots and he drove you all down, as a matter of fact. Is that right?
Yeah, I instigated it with us, and then Alex said he'd be up for it, and then we got another 2 people. So I drove from mine, picked up 2 guys, got to Alan's, and then he drove from his to Birmingham.
Fun.
Long car
what a great
journey.
Road trip. And so great It is a long time. It's remarkable. I mean, every time I think to go up to an event up there, I take a look and driving is just out of the question. It is the island's quite long, as it turns out, and so it takes a long time to get all the way up there.
It's the roads that
that's part of it.
We got on the way down. It took 2 hours to travel 20 miles on the road to Birmingham.
Oh gosh.
So it just wasn't great for that, but it just is what it is with the travel.
Yeah. Is there a train that goes to Birmingham from Scotland?
There probably is. It's more the getting back is the problem for me. Like, obviously, by the time it finishes back, because I live outside of Aberdeen, so again, I'd still have to get travel from Aberdeen train station to home. Mm-hmm. And obviously, like I said earlier, with young kids, it's getting them out of bed to come and collect me would not get my points up any further to go to more events.
All right, amazing. So we're here because, of course, you won the big event. You played in the Swiss event on Saturday, and from there you were able to come into a top cut. So you were in the top Omega class pod on the Sunday, and so that was 4 games on Saturday and 3 games on Sunday. So we're going to talk a bit about what you decided to take to the event overall, and then we'll talk a little bit about your matches. Did you do any of the side event on Friday? Did you practice there?
No, we travelled down on the Friday. So I left mine in the back at 9 o'clock in the morning and we got down into Birmingham about 9 o'clock. So it was like a 12-hour journey for me, almost.
Oh gosh,
there.
Okay.
But no, not on the Friday.
Right.
Just, I think, obviously speaking of future, we've probably planned to travel on the Thursday and then maybe be there for the Friday events if there's opportunity there for it.
Did you get to see some of the exhibition hall, at least, in between rounds and things?
I did, yeah. I got along to Cogler 2 and picked up some new sticks and some tokens.
Yeah.
Picked up some board games and that as well that I was looking for. So.
Okay. So you got a flavor of it, and it sounds like you had a good enough experience that you're looking to come back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Okay, so Inhumans has been out for a little while now. It's not just released, but it isn't very old at all. So what kind of piqued your interest about this affiliation enough to want to bring them down to the event?
They're very strong. Norbert is pretty much the straight word we'll go with.
Are you a meta chaser? What is going on here?
I create metas. No.
I create the meta, yeah.
Definitely. Just a very consistent affiliation currently. They play a play style that I quite enjoy as well, of more scoring which I think is definitely favoured more in the current mission pack. I think scoring out faster turn 3-4 is a lot more consistent than trying to attrition people out and relying on dice or collisions and things like that is a lot harder, I think, currently in the current format. But no, yeah.
What had you been playing before this?
Just been jumping around. Obviously, my boy Thanos got nerfed, so I've not really had a home since he got changed. So I was playing about with a few things. This Apocalypse, and Wakanda and things like that. There's all just a couple of things that are all things I'm testing and playing with at the moment. I felt obviously with Apocalypse's latest update, I thought he'd be quite popular, and I don't really enjoy mirrors in this game at all. They don't ever feel really great to the game. Mm-hmm. So playing multiple mirrors is what I assumed would happen. I didn't want that, and so then obviously stuck with the Black Bolt 1 list.
Okay, and that implies though that you feel like Inhumans have game into Apocalypse, which is a quite strong list these days.
Yeah, it's. I definitely feel not favoured, but it definitely feels a lot more winnable than it does for quite a lot of affiliations. I think currently, Apocalypse is obviously very strong in the current format, and quite a lot of Apocalypse is currently playing more pay-to-flips, which means they often with Prior would want to pick their secures, which obviously then gives the advantage to Inhumans getting their extracts, which are all currently on my list as civilians, which with Terrigenesis is a very strong, obviously, combo, and it obviously increases the game speed, since my lowest extract is 4, and then it's 5 and 6. So you're going more closer to the higher threshold of either 8 plus points on the table per round.
Okay, and so is what's your basic game plan with Inhumans? Okay? You're playing Black Bolt 1, so that's where you can pass power around, of course, each round. But I mean, is it trying to score out as soon as possible? Is it to try to play keep away with the extracts?
You quite often it matters on what combo of missions you get, but often you would be playing either the Dr. Voodoo plan of feed Voodoo power. Voodoo can then steal from someone last activation, and then you either keep him in bodyguard range of Black Bolt, and that becomes very, very difficult to then steal those extract backs from being in Black Bolt's bubble. On like 5 extracts, you'd be probably looking to go 4-1 on winning the extracts with Prio, and then on like 4 numbered extracts, you'd be probably looking to go 3-1 to your opponent, and then obviously keeping that advantage for the next couple of turns. If you're on civilians, you can maybe even also use obviously Terrigenesis as a swing turn. Obviously that gives you like a 4 VP swing if you get it to work at the right time.
Right.
Which is pretty much just consistently either go up on parity on extracts. So you'd be looking probably scoring 2 secures, and then 3 extracts gives you 5. If you do that turn 1, turn 2, that's legit 10. That means you only have to score that plus Terrigenesis in turn 3 to win. And it's very hard to interact with if your opponent's not, if as the Inhumans player, you're not giving them much to play with. Because obviously they all have to come into your bubble. Again, Black Bolt is I would say is one of the best hitters in the game. And having to come into his range 4 to play with your team is obviously quite difficult for a lot of factions to come into.
Okay, so but let's be clear on this then. The idea is to pull more extracts than your opponent does at round 1, and then get them in as a bubble, of which Black Bolt is a particularly important part of it. But after that, the idea is you hold on to them by fighting, essentially. You don't go to them, but they come to you, and you have to try to take them down.
Yeah, the idea is they're almost staggered. Every model's going to have to spend an action to walk to you. They'll only get 1 attack most of the time. And then they're relying then on a spike more, or because defensively, consistently as well, like a lot of your models are quite higher, either defenses of having access to rerolls or bodyguards, or if you take like obviously other models, you've got like Count Blancs on Karnak and adding defense dice and things. So you make these models a lot more survivable than what your opponent maybe can put out in 1 attack or.
Okay. Yeah, it does. And here's like 2 difficulties I had. I played Inhumans, for people who didn't listen to the other episodes. I played Inhumans at the Multiverse of Malmo event in Sweden a couple weekends ago. And the first issue that I had was I've understood how to use Quicksilver to steal my opponent's extract, the home extracts, right? Especially on a 5, an F-shaped 5. But if by doing so, you soak up all the power that you're going to be passing around round 1. So Voodoo was never getting any power as a consequence. So what's the incongruence here? What am I missing? How am I powering up Voodoo if I'm trying to use Quicksilver?
So I only often play Quicksilver when you have priority, because then obviously you have the ability to steal that back extract and your second activation. Normally, if we're looking at like a 17, my list would be Black Bolt, Voodoo, Toad, and then it would be either Lockjaw and Karnak, or if I felt I needed to be more fighty, Lockjaw would sometimes become Gorgon. But Lockjaw and Karnak are both batteries, so like turn 1, they both have 6 power between them to give out, or you could obviously use
but you only can give away 1 per turn is the problem.
Yeah. So like you can normally get Voodoo if you're using the Voodoo plan. Voodoo would be your last activation. He gets to 6 power because he's taken 5 power from between Karnak, Lockjaw, and Black Bolt's activations.
Okay.
It just
so you're
matters
saying you wouldn't be doing Quicksilver.
No, yeah, you would do Quicksilver and Voodoo normally. That would just be the head case scenario that you would normally then, if in that situation, would use Voodoo to take from their 2 threat, like their toad. If they've dived you, you would be using his power to take that from them, but not always.
So, to be clear, though, saying am I hearing you right that if you have priority, you're more likely to take Quicksilver and not Voodoo, and then if you don't have priority, it's more likely just to take Voodoo?
I would only take Quicksilver when it is an F shape, pretty much.
I see.
I would just normally take Voodoo if it was like wedding guests or anything similar. It would
right. What about the square-shaped ones, though? Like these or
that's a wedding guest, yeah. So it just matters on the sort of situation of what you're coming against as well, like how much firepower people would have, because a lot of lists currently only have like 2 fighters mostly, except from like Suns and Apocalypse. That's the only 2 affiliations that I think really run more than 2 like models that like punch way above their weight class.
Okay, well that brings me up to my second part of that. So like you're saying about having a bunker, I played against 2 Guardians players, 1 Asgard player, and 1 Steve 1 Avengers player. And they just ran at me essentially after I did all the steals and destroyed me. they out attrition me. Like, I mean, my characters were just getting deleted. So is that just me in bad luck? Is that me not putting Karnak in the right spot so he gets enough of his martial artists in play? Or what do you mean? Like what
Guardians is a hard one because
your experience.
It's not been my experience, but I definitely think Guardians are a harder one because they also shoot outside of like Karnak's range of like obviously one's martial artist. But it does come down to like a lot of, I think, what the field is like, and that's kind of like reading what your meta is as well. Like you say there, I think this works a lot better into like other scoring teams because again, other scoring teams don't punch as hard as what you can. Because again, you punish people that dive a lot. Like diving an F into this team is just problematic for yourself, I think, because either they give Voodoo the power to take it from you, or you're getting double tapped by Black Bolt turn 1, and if you're alive after that, you're Terrigenesis or turn 1, or you're going to be on your danger side turn 2 anyway, and you're then down a model quite early in the game, and then you're just losing that value there. I found I've not played much into, like, again, Guardians would definitely be an affiliation that is unloved at the moment, would be or definitely downplayed at the moment, I would say. So I've not had much games into them. It's mostly been quite heavily more scoring teams that I've had play into.
So where do you see the weaknesses for the Inhumans' current build right now, either in terms of like particular techniques or wholesale affiliations that are good into them?
Horribly is that word is the midder. The midder obviously becomes a lot more difficult since they're also probably playing the same mission pack as you. They're both playing the same extracts most likely. It would only be your secures if you were to decide. Like obviously, like if you look at the field of like I obviously pay quite attention to like Longshanks, that I see like a lot of Inhumans play more attrition based secures, which obviously just could be to their play style or preference. But I find personally the like D shapes and is a lot better for them because they actually can now rotate a lot better than what they could prior. With the new models that they had got access to. Like, I think that's obviously like if we're talking about the affiliation in general, their 2 new free threats are really, really strong. Some would say above curve, but they definitely gave the affiliation answers.
Karnak and
Gorgon. Yeah, they gave the affiliation things they didn't have access to prior. Right, having like a strong brawly
plus
free
the
threat.
Great Refuge card.
Great Refuge is also fantastic. Yeah, giving you Lockjaw effect for a team tactics card again is also fantastic. And I
So you're
I think it's
saying
I think it's all strengths, like you say, from one basket sort of thing. Like they've just got a strong tick box in every situation currently, I would say.
So, but you don't see like any magic bullet to try, like you don't worry about any particular affiliation that you see across the table?
Not any affiliation directly, no. Like you could just get like a certain mission combo that would be more irritating into certain matchups, but it's not like I definitely wouldn't say the game's over turn 0 for a lot of the stuff. Like there's not a research station anymore and things like that. Like I think that's kind of like the thing that's also gave strength to Inhumans is the rotation of missions, allowing things like the game's not locked to being slow anymore because like there isn't like a lock on playing down the middle with demons and gamma, and then you play it on like research station. You don't have that lock, and like the lowest is now 6 points, but I'm not playing anything that's that slow, so we can't play that slow sort of thing. You're no longer going to be locked to playing to turn 6, I'd say.
What do you feel about the mirror with the Inhumans? Is it a matter who wins priority? Who wins?
I think it's just on what models you decide. Like I think outside of like the common 4 models that you would both take, which would be like Black Bolt, Gorgon, Karnak, and Lockjaw. I think it just matters on what, like some people take different splashes and things in their 10. Someone might try and take an answer to Inhumans in their 10, but again, like I said, I don't think there's a character that silver bullets you the win into them. So I think it just matters on the mission combo. It's going to be a fast game, most likely. Like it's going to be minimum like 8 points on the table. It could just be who gets that Terrigenesis flip on a certain turn. If you're both playing Voodoo, Voodoo can't possess Voodoo, so you could also set up that they can't steal your extracts if you put them all on your Voodoo. But obviously then he's then a Terrigenesis target, so it's kind of a mixture of all.
All right, cool. Any other thoughts about the affiliation you think people should know about if they're playing them competitively?
I definitely think there's play Lockjaw. I hear a lot of people that say they don't find him useful, or like they see him more of as like a kind of similar to Wong, like a pass mechanic almost. I think he's like super strong currently. Like you can use him as like a hammer piece where you can use his token for Bloodhound. You can give it to like whatever enemy model you want to target. Give him Black Bolt a 7 dice energy with a reroll with Pierce Wild is very good for double tapping someone turn 1. He's great on Senators because he can like after something's moved and finished with Senator, you can obviously pick it up and place it range free, so you can get around the being locked in place with him. He has the ability to like give any model pseudo charge with the range free place, and quite often people can't interact with it like turn 1 or turn 2 of stopping you doing it. And he's just like a great battery because obviously he still has the ability to gain power when he's got a friend beside him. So you can also pay for a lot of your cards and things like that.
Yeah. Do you tend to use him for other tasks aside from the teleporting? In other words, does he hold an extract, or does he sit on
He holds an extract often. He often also uses terrain throw. Like I can't throw terrain outside of him in my list, except if I took Bill. Sometimes I just throw a 3 into a 2 if I just want to clear some board space and things like that. If you be playing into an affiliation that would rather throw those things into you, or that's blocking, giving cover to something I don't really want having cover. But yeah, he is really he's got like a range 2 medium throw, size 3, which again can just increase his damage output. If someone comes into sits and within range 2 of him, giving them a Bloodhound token, him then having 2 5 dice attacks with a reroll and a size 3 terrain throw is still pretty consistent for damage to do 4 or 5.
Yeah. The Bloodhound is important though. What is that? Is it 3 power?
3 power, yeah. Yeah. You'd often only do that like either turn 1 if you're wanting to pick something to kill, or you would use it like because it affects everyone as well. It's like everyone gets a hammer So if you have like Gorgon as well, Gorgon going to a 6 dice builder with a reroll is also very good.
Once you've done all the stealing and you're in your bunkering mode, how do you tend to distribute the power? Like, who are you prioritizing to get it?
After that, not anything directly. It would either be Karnak to give him the ability to let me count 2 skulls.
Yep.
The name of the ability has escaped me. That or giving it to Gorgon, so Gorgon has spenders online. Because his spender is absolutely nuts for a free threat of a range-free 8 dice physical with a reroll that throws automatically up to size 4 and on a wild gives stagger is fantastic. If you can get to if you get to charge and do that twice into 2 different people, it's super strong.
Yeah. Are you? Yeah, it's called Teachings of the Three Worlds. That Karnak ability.
Yeah,
where you can count up to. Yeah.
It's also really good for its timing window because it's like after it's in the calculating successes, so it's like after like recall and things like that as well. So like it can't be blocked. Well, it just can't be blocked. The only thing it would count is for like Scarlet Witch or Dormammu would be the only other people that count skull, or Loki would count skulls as successes still. But it's good if you just get a bad roll and you can just force through extra damage.
Okay. And I found his spender to be bonkers good too. Let me show you your flaw.
Yeah. Again, some reason it's a range-free spender. The weakness token as well is just an insane ability. For him as well. Just getting like up to an 8 dice builder with a reroll and being able to reapply weakness afterwards is super strong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. I loved playing him actually. He was a lot of fun. Surprisingly good. And interesting in that he's like a support piece at the beginning of the game and then becomes kind of more of an attrition-based one towards the mid to late game.
Yeah, definitely like I would often definitely early game pick up an extract with him because you want people to interact with him. You kind of want him to be taking some damage and then having the power. Like there's not a lot of models that are range 4 or 5 locked in this game. Most models are range 3 and lower, so like they'll always be in range after a while if they are choosing to interact with him, giving him power. He gives a weakness token. I'll often even then, if I've got like 2 power left, you'll just, rather than walk in builder, I would just meditate and spend or someone and then go like, well, that's 10 dice, count skulls and hopefully delete something. The average on that damage on that attack is very high.
Yeah, agreed. And somehow it always feels good having those skulls count instead of not.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at your roster then. This will be in the show notes, folks. So take a look there if you don't have something to hand to jot all this down. So the characters turned out to be Black Bolt 1, Beast, Quicksilver, Dr. Voodoo, Toad, Lockjaw, Karnak, Gorgon, Black Cat, and Beta Ray Bill. I found these all very familiar from my roster that I cribbed from other people. So this feels rather standard, except for... I mean, not that it's unusual, but I didn't take Black Cat, and I'd like you to explain why you felt the need for that, considering you have already Dr. Voodoo and Quicksilver.
So
and Toad, for that matter.
Yeah, Quicksilver often, Black Cat often comes in if a game where I don't want to play Voodoo, like if I don't think the Voodoo build is going to work, and I don't have Prio to make Quicksilver work, is kind of when she comes in. She's really strong. Like you can give her a power turn 1. She can walk and stagger someone for turn 2.
Yep.
You can also just feed her power so she can double walk turn 1. If you then had Prio, steal from someone, then walk back again into your bubble if that's what you're going for. And she's just, like you say, an excellent tool of rotating on Ds as well, which is kind of like her other thing that my list kind of likes to take advantage of. So like it would be at 17, Toad and Voodoo become like Gorgon and her. So then like it's Black Bolt, Karnak, Gorgon, Black Cat, and Lockjaw. If like I don't need either if I don't need Quicksilver. So then it's kind of just a more fighty or brawlier version, but obviously having the ability to like mitigate how much damage your opponent can put out with the staggers.
Yep. Okay. So if you have Prio, what's like your core team?
Normally, like often, like I can either force 17 from my extracts or kind of from my secures. It's just normally Black Bolt, Voodoo, Toad, Lockjaw, Karnak would be the normal, like the strongest version. I feel or find from repeat plays of it. It's just very strong when you're playing that scoring format.
And so that's the same as if you don't have Prio.
Yeah. Normally, yeah.
Okay. And Quicksilver, you mentioned, is if you have Prio and on a F shape, so that he can use his ability.
Yeah, on an F shape. Yeah. And if you really wanted to be cheeky and the board allows you to, you could do it on a D with Prio, because then you could either steal their back point or grab a side with so if you were on hammers, you could pick up safe-ish grab with Toad one flank, and then when they pick up the other flank, Quicksilver can then dive their back and then you get to move back to past midpoint. So then they only get if you have Lockjaw as a model, they only have one activation, because you can then walk Lockjaw and then pull him range free back to your back point after that if you needed. Okay.
When does Beast come into play for you?
He really comes in often if I'm playing Deadline. He can often come in, which is one of my secures. He's just really good at rotating on that smaller, P shape is what they call it, but a smaller D. Yeah, he's just really good at rotating on there. Having the ability to displace is really strong there. But yeah, he often doesn't come in as much as what I would like. He's kind of just there as if you're playing against like X-Men or that, where they're all size 2s pretty much, he's very good at like just displacing people off of secures.
Do you ever dive him on a B secure?
Now I definitely would, obviously in Inhumans, being able to give him a power to then throw someone off there, so then you could actually either score it or you would definitely be tying it rather than them scoring over you. But again, he very rarely comes in. From the weekend, I could say from the weekend, Beast, Black Cat, and Bill were never played from the Games Expo.
Okay, and what is Bill's purpose, even though you didn't use him?
He's quite good into just like, if you're going to be playing in size 4s, pretty much is his answer. I can obviously give him a power, so turn 1 he can double walk and throw someone. I find him quite good into Apocalypse if like I'm on Pedaflips, because he can obviously flip twice, turn 1 to like go last and flip 2 Pedaflips back in my favor if I can. That's kind of about it. He's just a guy that's good at throwing people.
Yeah, but you're making a good point about the pay to flip part of it, because these guys don't like pay to flips as much because they don't want to be spending the power on that. But he's quite excellent at it, between having 2 power but also good defensive stats.
Yeah. The only pay to flip that I find really problematic actually is Meteors, just because of obviously the damage on top, and then if you're playing the Voodoo plan, it's a lot harder because Voodoo's only got 2 defense energy, so like flipping over anyone like late game you will struggle to do, but most of the other ones are fine, between like Madmen, Guardians, and Macran. And Macran's good for Bill shape. It's a good Bill shape as well, because you can obviously rotate on them really well and flip on them.
Okay, let's talk about the crises then. So for the secures, you've got Riot Spark, which is a D shape. We have Cosmic Invasion, Black Order Descends to Earth. That's another D shape. And then you have Deadline Destruction, which is essentially a smaller D shape. So there's a bit of a theme here. Also, 16 threat and 17 threat. So quite low numbers. 17, of course, very popular, but 16 is low.
Yeah. Definitely, I feel that that is kind of to mitigate people picking my secures more often than not. Like, a lot of people just don't want to play at 16. There's only a few affiliations
No kidding.
that like to actually play at 16 still. Like, Apocalypse hates 16. Because again, no one's playing the double twos with him, really, and him being 4 wide is just better for me, because I can obviously still play 5 wide at 16. So I find the ability to then kind of push people to more towards my extracts, which again gives advantage to playing like the scoring game, and like you say with Terrigenesis, the advantage of there is a lot better.
And so is that the driver then of these choices, or is it something about the D shape that is important?
We're very good at D shapes now. Like I said before, like we just have models that rotate a lot better. Like Gorgon is obviously can walk and charge onto points. Lockjaw can obviously be used to teleport. We now have Great Refuge, which allows us that, like, once per game, we're now going to score a lot better, because we're all going to jump onto secures if we're not holding. I've got Quicksilver in that as well, and like you say, Black Cat, that all rotate very well. So yeah, it's just more the teams that I would play against them on that are good at them as either criminals or webs, and webs are quite squishy, and criminals you just need to flip them so then they don't count as 2, or tie on them, or go advantage on extracts so that it doesn't matter.
Right. And what's noticeably absent, of course, is pay to flips, as we talked about before.
Yeah. I don't think you could take pay to flips if you wanted to, but I think you're then making your leadership weaker, because you're using it to score points rather than using it to take advantage of good superpowers or abilities.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the hot topic, which is the extracts. We've got Unexpected Guests, Crash Royal Wedding, Spider Infected, and Mutant Extremists target U.S. Senators. These are 17 threat. First two are 17, and then the Senators is 19. I actually didn't use Senators just because I can see the purpose with so many extracts on the table. But it is a tricky scenario, I think, if you're inexperienced like I was, because I went in it cold. So I went with, I forgot the other one now. That I'll look it up in the meantime.
Scrolls.
But tell us then. The Scrolls, it was Scrolls, exactly. Yeah. Scrolls, and which I didn't like. I mean, it's my least favorite, let's put it that way. Spider Infected was my favorite. It was the most straightforward one to do, and Wedding Guest was actually as well a little less spicy because there's fewer of them and they're all in the midline, but so there's more of an attrition element than just to keep away. But that was my experience. What is your experience with these 3 crises?
Yeah, they're all fantastic for Inhumans. Obviously, being civilians gives that advantage with Terrigenesis. Again, 2 of them locking you to 17. It allows you to then play that 17 list we spoke about earlier. Senators has a complete different list, because obviously I can't play Dr. Voodoo at 19. So normally I'm 6 wide on Senators normally. And you're normally taking advantage more of, like, because again, at minimum, it's 9 points on the table. There is no secure slower than 3 in the game. So you are playing 9 points at minimum. If you go half and half with your opponent, it's like someone's going 4, someone's going 5, pretty much, unless you're both standing on things to slow down. And again, that's still a 4-turn clock. And if you use the Terrigenesis on Senators, it's maybe a 3-turn clock if you can take a full advantage of it. Senators also really good.
How many Senators do you expect?
How much you pick up? On you go.
Finish
it. Senators also gives you good strength with, like, Lockjaw for, like, Black Bolt and Gorgon, and because you can obviously use Lockjaw just to stand at the back and he can just push 2 people forward, and it just gives you massive threat range over what your opponent is going to be doing, because most models have to just double walk or walk once to pick them up. There is no pick up and you can't pick up and walk away, so people are normally stuck there. And you were saying, sorry, how much do I pick up? 4 to 5. 5 a really good turn. 4 is kind of common, because you'll either hopefully Black Bolt will kill whatever he targets, and you pick up 3, one with 2 with either Black Cat and Gorgon or Karnak, because again, if Karnak, I sometimes dive Karnak on one of theirs if I can get him in cover, because when he's got cover, and if they move to any of the other ones, they have to normally stand within 2 of them, so then he gets his martial artist. If not, he's going to have cover with a reroll, which is not hugely tanky, but it's better than nothing.
Who else dives there, Senators?
Normally just Black Cat and Karnak, because then obviously that's 2. If they then pick up one of mine, I've got obviously either Black Bolt to obviously punish, or you've got Gorgon to punish. Toad sometimes dives theirs as well. Sometimes he'll just go sit on a secure, because he can... Putting him on a secure makes him a worse target to be hit, because if they're shooting him and not killing him, he's still sitting on the secure, so he's still taking advantage of what he wants to do. And then next turn he can, if he's got the power, he can hop away into range of someone, take their extract off them, like Black Cat or something. He'll take Black Cats off of her, and then he'll walk away, so he's then further from the secures. So then he is then either going away towards the corner, or he's going to sit somewhere that if you're walking towards him, you're disincentivized to waste points, like attacking a 2 threat.
Yep.
Or he goes into range of Black Bolt, so he's protected.
Okay, let's talk about the team tactics cards. We have Recalibration Matrix, Survival. Can I borrow that? Patch Up, Brace for Impact, Inhuman Royal Family, Terrigenesis, Attilan Rising, The Great Refuge, and Grievous Wounds. Which would you say are your go-to 5?
Patch Up, Brace, Inhuman Royal Family, Terrigenesis, and The Great Refuge is pretty much locked most games. You very rarely... Sometimes, the only matchup that I sometimes change is Brace currently gets dropped to Grievous Wounds if I'm playing into Apocalypse, because they don't really have much terrain throws outside of Beast, or some people play Blob. But one model throwing you is a lot better than some teams that are throwing 3 or 4 times a turn. So then Grievous Wounds is obviously a fantastic answer to Apocalypse, I find.
Yeah, because of his healing ability. Do you tend to have Black Bolt play that card? Because you do have to do damage for it to trigger.
Either that, or I normally do it when Gorgon gets flipped, or Karnak, because then they get to do their spender with it, and you're pretty much auto doing a damage between one of them. Like Karnak almost automatically can do a damage when you're counting skulls in both pools. And you're probably at 10 dice as well with your weakness token.
Yeah, right. Okay. I found a lot of their other cards not so interesting either. So Great Refuge and Terrigenesis were the only 2. But you like Inhuman Royal Family. Remind me which one that is. Is that the extra die roll?
That's every Inhuman can spend 2 power to play the card. Once this round, each character that spent the power gets a reroll any dice token for attack or defense. So it's kind of like a super winging it token for the rest of the round per character that spends.
Yeah, that is a great card. Yeah, these are fantastic cards. So it's interesting that you took Patch Up instead of... I ended up taking a Sacrifice to have even more bodyguard potential on the table.
Yeah.
Maybe you can talk about your choice for Patch Up instead.
Patch Up, I find, is... If you're playing the Voodoo plan, keeping Voodoo alive is the most important thing. So I often find if my Voodoo takes 4 damage, and then my Black Bolt spikes someone for 4, I'm him healing 4 off of Voodoo, so that Voodoo's impossible. Well, not impossible to kill, but he becomes a lot harder to actually deal with. You can then kind of protect. I find Sacrifice isn't great with them because they lose all their defensive tech with Sacrifice. Because everyone loses their rerolls. Black Bolt can't buff his dice.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time you're just more hoping raw damage is going to protect you. I'd rather take an attack. It probably does over 60-70% of the damage of my model, and I'd rather just patch it up and make
I
it the
think you're
tactic
right.
nothing.
I think I like that better too. For me, it just kept distributing damage around, and so people were dying more easily.
Yeah, between like Voodoo, Black Cat, or even Black Bolt, like if Black Bolt gets flipped and people spend like an entire activation trying to deal with him, leave him on like free health. Someone spends 5 power, and puts him back to like 1 damage taken. It's all over kind of brutal. Because you're way behind at that point on your attrition play. And like Black Cat and Voodoo, it's fantastic because Black Cat already is very difficult to deal with. If you all of a sudden, if she's left on 1 health, steals and then walks back to you, and then you heal her for 4, it's good. You're probably looking at 2 more attack models to attack her to even get her close to that damage again.
Yeah. Speaking about rerolls, losing them, I should have pointed out with the Guardians. Also, they played Agent Venom in both cases against me, which also.
I suppose Agent Venom is also like terrified of Black Bolt. Like, if you can get it to set up that he shouldn't walk anywhere near you, because if turn 1, you could set up that you just double tap him and probably not mathematically average, but you probably take 4 or 5 health off him. Because 2 defense into your 6 with a reroll is Pierce is probably going to deal with him.
Yeah. All right, let us get into your matches. Now, we're going to look at day 1 was 4 matches. You're just going to do some highlights so people can understand how you approached the match and maybe what was some key moment that got you the win. So the first match was against Lewis Marshall, and he was playing A-Force.
That's backwards. It's at the bottom.
And you barely won this, 19-18, playing on Spider Infected and Extremis at 17 threat.
That's round 4. It goes backwards stupidly on Logshanks, if you're wanting the order.
Oh, sorry. That's round 4. Oops. Yeah. Thank you. All right,
Spoilers.
Let's start over. So the first game, spoilers. Liam, you played against John Brierton, I beg your pardon. Also from Scotland, actually. He was playing Apocalypse. This was on Unexpected Guests, a Mutant Madman at 17 threats, and you had priority, winning 20-13.
Yeah.
Was this one of your car mates?
Yes, it was, yeah.
Oh, bugger. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. It's more bad for him than it was me. This was a crazy game. I think it was 5 one-shots in the game. Turn one, Black Bolt one-shot Deadpool. Turn 2, Magic one-shot Voodoo through like her actual soul sword into Voodoo's 6 mystic defense. Just block nothing. He rolled 6. There's quite a lot of that. I was able to split the table because we were madmen and guests. Karnak went and picked up on my right. He picked up the guest and then flipped my point. And then the rest of my faction all just went to the other side. Just to take full advantage. There was this size 5 where my Mutant Madman was on my left. So I kind of all just either stood on it or behind it. So that it became quite difficult to deal with models. And then turn 3, I was able to KO Beast, Magic, and Deadpool before they activated. So then he only had Toad and Apocalypse left.
Oh, gosh.
And the writing's kind of on the wall at that point of scoring. But yeah.
So would you say here the attrition just was much stronger than you would typically expect out of Inhumans?
No, just the punishment. Like he flipped Black Bolt and then he left. Unfortunately for himself, he left a beam of models. So then I was able to use his spender, hit everyone, and then I was able to use the other spender, the Master Punch, to then, because this list can also burn brace quite well, just with like a throw from either Gorgon on his spender or Black Bolt spender. You can normally force the brace out of people. I then used the Master Punch to finish off the last 2 models. And then then with the Master Punch was out of range for the rest of the attack.
I should mention to people what the event number is on Longshanks. It's 23631 if people want to follow along. All right. Hang on, let me get your games back up. There we are. So game 2. All right. So you got somebody new this time. It was Hugh Jenkins playing Midnight Suns with, I'm taking a look. Yeah, he played Blade as the leader. This was Unexpected Guests again and Deadline to Destruction, 17 threat. Ooh, you won this one without priority, 20-8.
Yeah. This was quite fortunate. He picked his extracts and pulled out the only civilian he had, which was Guests. And then obviously Deadline being the smaller. He picked up early with Black Blade, and then I used Lockjaw to place up Black Bolt, and then double tapped him and left Blade on 2 health. And then just the rest of the game, it kind of forced...
Blade being notoriously weak to energy. And just that kind of just put him on the back foot. I walked Voodoo twice up to that point and just stole the Wedding Guest off of Blade. But he couldn't really stand around anymore next turn, because obviously I had the ability to bodyguard from Blade into Voodoo into Black Bolt. So if he wanted to spend or builder, he would never get the bleed on the model that he wants to reroll into. So he was never going to kill either of them. So he spendered Voodoo, did 4 damage, left Voodoo on 2, 1 health, 2 with bleed. So then with Prio, I just walked Voodoo back, kept him in bodyguard range of everyone, then just shake the bleed. So then he was just in the bubble of everything, but not in range of getting deadline damage to further kill him. And then just kind of rotated the models with the civilians, and just obviously kept that lead throughout. Did he decide to go wide, or did he have Eye Hulk in this match?
He had Werewolf by Night, Incant 2, Red Skull 2, and Blade. So he was 4 wide to my 5.
Well, taking Red Skull 2 on Deadline Destruction is pretty good. Is a common thing. So, it's a shame. So, I guess part of what I'm trying to ask is one of the reasons I don't like Deadline to Destruction, although later I took it on my second day and it was better, is that people being able to use the secures to kind of whittle down your extract holders, right? Because they take a damage if that's the case. So, do you find that to be a problem?
And not often, because I just won't stand near the secures. Obviously, if you're on Wedding Guests, you could just walk back instead and be on your back D hole. If they're double walking to my back D and then interacting with it to do a damage, I'm pretty happy, because they're that model is in range of 4 other models that haven't even activated yet, most likely. So it's not really problematic. But I normally just would, if I'm going to get the extract lead anyway, as I would in that game, I just only started scoring 1 secure. I just started scoring my back secure anyway, because I don't really need to score the secures. If he's standing on the secures instead, it means he's not interacting with me, because I'm obviously further back, on my home D point sort of thing. You wouldn't be able to interact as easily, because you're going to either walk, hit me, and then bump back to protect yourself, or you come in and you're going to get either double tapped by Black Bolt or Karnak or Gorgon. Is not really any sort of models that you really want to deal with.
Okay. Game 3. Okay, this is funny, because the opponent is Corey I'm Scottish Miller. Is there something I should know about that handle of his? I'm Scottish.
I believe Corey is Scottish. He's just moved up our way, so he's going to be at our events now locally. I think he was saying when I was speaking to him that he's going back to live with family, so he'll be at the local Stirling events now in future for me.
Nice. That's funny.
But this was a great game as well. Again, Corey with Prio picked his.
Let me set it up for everybody.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yes. So that's all right. He was playing Convocation, and it was Unexpected Guests and Mcron. 17 threat. He had priority, but he lost 17-11. Yeah. So you were saying he picked his secures.
Yeah, because I think he just wanted to avoid the Ds, or again also the opportunity of 16 threat. I'm not sure. I didn't actually ask him, but I assume that's where it comes from. Either the D shapes not being favourable for him, or as you say, the 16 does kind of put a lot of fear into a lot of people that they just, when you're playing like Convocation, definitely you have a 5 threat strange, you're already straight away hampered there on the 11 points you have left and what you actually have access to. But
Did he take the new Clea?
Yeah. He didn't in this game. He had Strange, Sorcerer Supreme Strange, Voodoo, Incantu, Wong, and I'm going to forget who the last character was.
Mordo?
Not Mordo. I'm trying to do my maths now. Voodoo 9.
Who was the leader?
It was Strange, Sorcerer Supreme Strange. Strange, Wong, Incantu. Damn, that's going to bug me. But yeah,
it's been a long time.
It either died or it either died or didn't come into matter. This game was super close, like turn 3. He got quite an attrition lead. He flipped Black Bolt and my Voodoo on that turn. But between Lockjaw got like a beautiful turn into a Voodoo that wasn't that had given away his possession token. I was able to give him the blood token, the Bloodhound token, and then double tap him. I did 4 damage on the first one, then finished him off on the 2 on the second when he took his possession token back as well. And then with Prio, he went with Strange to try and deal with my Karnak and Black Bolt. I then went with the dog again, and I threw a size 3 and double tapped Voodoo to kill him. Which allowed, I threw the size 3 and attacked him, which left him, which killed him, and then I used the Lockjaw place to jump behind a size 4 building, so I couldn't be seen. Obviously the game, fun. The numbers was there that I wouldn't be able to lose on the table left once I did that. So I find that a lot. I find that a lot with Macran. It's probably my least favorite of the new secures. Just being the old sword shape, a lot of 50-50s. It just feels can still feel quite bad if you're just getting flipped over with the RNG of the dice.
Totally agree. All right, let's come around to the culmination of the day. Back to what I was saying before. Round 4 was against Lewis Marshall. He was playing A-Force, which is She-Hulk, of course. This time, you finally got a different extract, which was Spider-Infected, also quite good. Extremis was the Secure. This was 17th threat yet again. And you had priority, and you won 19-18. Wow.
This was a super close game. He deployed his She-Hulk on the flank a bit too wide, which meant that I was able to take one of his back Spider-Infected quite a lot safer. I played Quicksilver this game. I was able to take it a bit safer than I normally would because he wasn't able to move Wasp to get She-Hulk up with the special delivery without. She couldn't get into range of the attack. She would have to still walk. She wouldn't get the free attack pretty much from the special delivery, which was good for me. It came down to I punished She-Hulk quite a lot. On turn 3, she had 3 health left, and she went on to his side D, which had Black Cat, and he had Sacrifice left. I used the Great Refuge to move Quicksilver towards them. Quicksilver did a spender into She-Hulk, which he took. She had 5 health at this point. She took 3 from that, 2 from that. I then medium advanced. Wow. I then did the punch into her. He sacrificed it into Black Cat. I got the trigger to hit again, so then I could punch She-Hulk. And then I punched She-Hulk and did the 2 damage and left her on 1. I also got the short advance on that, so I then advanced off the point, out of the way. So then I had the power left to then Terrigenesis her on her 1 health to KO her, and that's what that VP swing is what got the win there.
Wow, that's amazing.
But yes, Terrigenesis is definitely a fantastic card for its strengths. But
it's such a kick in the jimmy too, because you're killing the person and taking their stuff, or getting VPs rather.
Yeah.
Oh, good. But my Quicksilver has never done all that. That's insane. His attacks are not so good.
Yeah, he is kind of like the wettest noodle of the bunch. But I find he's quite good. Obviously, again, that Inhuman Royal Family is a good card for him, because obviously it makes his spender more consistent. Him and Beast being the only two that don't have like an offensive reroll does sometimes feel quite bad, but they are still quite strong pieces with their teals.
Well, okay. Well, congrats to Lewis for getting that far as well. But this is really interesting because we're going to move on to day 2, Sunday. You're the Omega pod. So this is where we split everybody from the Swiss round into pods of 8 based on where they ended up in the standings on Saturday. So these are the top 8 best players, essentially, moving into Sunday. If you want to follow along on the event, it is Longshanks 26267. And this is exciting because of the pod system has some interesting quirks to it. I just was listening to the Rapid Fire podcast, and they had a similar event, a similar thing happen at their event, which was the Mutiny Weekender in May, where you've played one of the people, Lewis Marshall, and your first game on day 2 was against Lewis Marshall, still playing She-Hulk. So what's interesting, though, is you did have a different set of crises. So this is Inhumans deploy advanced weaponry, deadline to destruction is secure. Only 16 threat this time. You won priority and won 16 to 10. What happened here?
So Lewis won prio. This game didn't go well. I actually realized that it's now being submitted technically wrong. We deployed, and unfortunately, Lewis had his characters that he'd picked were unaffiliated. So when building his list, he was actually unaffiliated. So this game, he was technically actually unaffiliated rather than being She-Hulk. So he had no leadership in this game.
Was that by design or was that an error?
Error. We came to like deployment, and then he'd noticed, but it obviously went too far at that point to easily take it back, sort of thing. And it was unfortunate. It was still a super close game early on, but he played She-Hulk, Black Cat, Spectacular, and Shang. I was able to use Lockjaw to place Black Bolt early game on turn 1 and was able to double tap Shang, because again, you can shoot him outside range free, so he just kind of falls over when being dealt with by Black Bolt. But there was quite a lot of rotation in this game. And like I said, I quite like the deadline shape in that. And this game, probably this is actually the most deadline damage that can happen. But I find also when you're playing deadline, like the model that makes you drop the thing, if they've already got an extract anyway and they can't pick up another one, there's actually no loss to you dropping it, really, if you want to live. Because there's only like 2 missions now that you can pick up more, free, that you can pick up more than one, and they often
right.
So then there's no real loss if when people have like only 4 models and there's like 4 extracts on the table, they might not be able to actually even pick up the one because they're already carrying one anyway. So like losing the VP sometimes isn't too bad. But yeah, the Lockjaw was just beautiful in that game, and just he did a lot of arcing, and like I said, the Bloodhound token just increases everyone's damage output so massively in the game.
Yeah. All right, moving on to round 2. This is interesting, very interesting. You played against a fellow named Greg Page. What's interesting is that he played X mode. He also had Cyclops. The Crises were unexpected guests and superpowered scoundrels, which is interesting. 17 threat. He won priority, but lost 17 to 15. Seems another tight game.
It was a tight game. This was a fantastic game with Greg. Getting to see Cyclops do his thing was quite amazing. Unloved or underloved leadership in play. He had just a lot of control. He had Beast, Shuri, Psylocke, Iron Man 1, and Cyclops is his list. I had the usual Voodoo plan. I wasn't able to feed Voodoo enough power turn 1 to pick up the extract that I made his Cyclops drop. I was just able to make him drop it, which then gave me the 5 to free scoring turn 1. But like turn 2, Psylocke just went insane, and she left Voodoo on 1 after double tapping him. And then turn 3 I had no Voodoo left, so I was down like the key piece of normally the design of the list. But I was able to burn, because turn 1 he didn't put anything into range of Black Bolt. I was able to just double walk Black Bolt to the middle scoundrel. I was able to set up turn 2 for Black Bolt to use the Great Refuge to place on my left-hand side far point where Shuri and Beast were, and then just punish that flank. I was able to make him burn Xavier's Dream to obviously reduce the amount of power that Black Bolt would have got from attacking Beast, which in hindsight just meant that I'm going to at some point get a Terrigenesis play now in this game, rather than trading Terrigenesis for Xavier's Dream, is how I normally see it. And then, we just kind of scored out.
With Scoundrels, what's his game plan, having so many secures on the table?
I think he's just using it to push. Every character in that list except Psylocke can either push or throw someone off a point. And most of them you have to, the cover doesn't matter because you will always get the push effects. And then he uses like Shuri as a force multiplier, obviously, because she's just going to get so much power from the leadership between other models attacking. She then gets the ability to give heaps of rerolls out, and then you to dice fix heavily. Because I think he played Colossus day 1 in the list, then swapped her out for Psylocke on day 2, I think is what he mentioned. Or he played Psylocke a lot more day 2 than he did. And he found that, she just goes crazy when she's reroll, doing a 7 dice builder with free rerolls from herself and then free rerolls from Shuri is just a really good piece that removes something. And then you just use Cyclops, Iron Man 1, Beast and that to just displace people and just go up on the VP sort of thing. Right.
Okay. Last match. Now, I think I took a photo of this of you guys as you were just setting up your table, because it was super exciting to see you against the almighty Joe Jumanji Hainstock. This time he's not playing X-Men, though. He's playing Miles Morales' Web Warriors. The Crises were Hammers and Deadline to Destruction. 18 threat. He had 1 priority, but lost 16-13.
Yeah, this was like a super close game with Joe. I think we both didn't really know how it was going to go early game. He knew that I was obviously going to be taking an extract off of someone turn 1 with Voodoo. It's just how much he could mitigate or keep up scoring to obviously take advantage of that. He was able to, there was a great piece of terrain blocking where the hammer was on my left-hand side. So it was a size 3, so it was complete line of sight blocking for the Shang that went behind it. But obviously, Voodoo's masterful possession skills doesn't need line of sight. So I was able to lockjaw him up, feed him power, then pick up the thing, hammer, walk back. Turn 2, I had Voodoo, Lockjaw, Karnak, and Black Bolt all on my back D. And I just spent that turn just feeding Voodoo power, and knew that I would get Prio next turn because he was 6 wide. So second last activation, I double walked my Voodoo to his back point where his Miles and Black Cat were holding his hammers. I possess with Voodoo, take Black Cat's hammer, end the turn, get Prio, take a power off of Gorgon, which I needed for Voodoo, so he goes up to 4 powered again. Then took Miles's one off, just double walked him back to my back onto the big House of Hammers, as it was, because he had 3 at that point. And then just...
And why didn't he
Lockjaw.
punish you for having Voodoo up there?
Just because he had one activation left after me, and because he's playing webs, it's Gwen, so he had no real way of stopping it. He could have probably stopped me getting the second hammer from the hammer off Miles, but obviously the Black Cat one I'd really had at that point, and he was trying to set up like lifesavers for after it. So obviously in case, because I could have just at that point, I've got 2 hammers and 3 powered, I could have just spendered Miles and just double tapped him instead to take his hammer off him if I wanted to. But I thought because again, that would be even stronger technically, because then Black Cat's got the possession token on her. She can't take it off her until I either Voodoo dazes. So if you don't daze Voodoo before Black Cat goes, he can't steal back the hammer from Voodoo either with Black Cat. But yeah, I just came back to my bunker, then Lockjaw portaled Voodoo further back. So obviously like he was range free of my back point, I think at that point afterwards. And yeah, it was just, he had to then push for an out in the game, and it didn't happen. And then when Gorgon came back in the game, he got like a 5%er to one shot Miles, who would be the only model he had that could have brought him back in the game. But Gorgon crazy as he is. But yeah, it was super.
All right,
super fortunate.
That sounds like an amazing day. Sounds like certainly the second and third games were just real nail biters, which is always exciting. So big congratulations to you for winning the UK Games Expo.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was great to see you guys there. It seems like you had a really good time and are looking to have yourself and maybe some other Scots come down again next year.
Yeah, I definitely think it's one for the radar, for the calendar. I definitely, again, would... anyone that's not been, that's obviously maybe traveling further like ourselves sort of thing, definitely advise it's the opportunity to go. There's definitely a lot there. Same idea when people are like looking for hotels and that. We just got an Airbnb that was I organised, and you got that sort of thing. So like you don't have to, if the cost of the hotels locally and that are off-putting, there's definitely opportunities there that make it a lot less or more accessible.
Yeah. Yep, you definitely have to shop around. I did some of that research after this one was over and recognized that there was a big variety of price ranges from very expensive to rather reasonable. So, yeah, you just got to look into it. Cool. You going to stick with Inhumans, or are you on to something next?
I'm not playing much with them right now. Kind of like, obviously, I didn't join the Euro 1 contest either. This just a little break sort of thing. But sure, probably continue with them if I'm using them as a competitive choice. But testing out some other stuff still, like it says, still testing Apocalypse and Wakanda and things like that, and
okay, secret tech,
see what we find.
Brood. Cool. Thank you so much for coming on the show. This was really interesting for me, having just finished playing with Inhumans and also being one of the most important new affiliations kind of rising right now. So really great that you shared your knowledge with the community. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem. Again, if anyone has any questions or anything, personally, just put me a DM and I can answer what I can. I love us giving an honest answer to questions or situations that people are looking at game-wise.
Well, that's very kind of you. So yeah, you are at Liam Watt on Discord, so very easy to find you. One last thing is I want to thank the Cables Conquests guys. They let us use their recording studio again this time because of some logistical issues. So thanks so much. Listen to the Cables Conquests podcast if you want to hear some really cool battle reports by Curtis and Archie. And lastly, I want to thank all the Patreons who made this possible. It's really great to see you guys enjoying enough to want to give us some of your cash, and it's very humbling. So thank you so much for that. Until next time, thanks for listening, and cheers, and happy gaming.